What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be previewing round one for 2023. It's Port Adelaide versus Brisbane this Saturday at the Adelaide Oval. I do apologise for having a late preview. I know these are one of the biggest things the channel does, so I really do apologise for having it late. It's been a busy period and really trying to grind out as much work as possible, with some exciting things to come obviously on the channel. We've seen the glass table has launched over the last couple of weeks. Pairs on a Pod is now on ThePear as well, so a lot of content coming away across the season. So I do really appreciate everyone's support. We're nearly at 5,000 subscribers, so make sure you jump on board and do so, and because we're going to have, as I said, a lot of things to come. But firstly, what is coming is round one, so I'm looking forward to speaking about you and previewing round one, Port Adelaide versus Brisbane. It's not that exciting when Travis Boak is missing. Probably one of the key things from selection. I think I'm glad I'm doing a preview after selection's done, because the team is out and it's pretty standard team. I was expecting a couple of omissions is probably the fact that there's no Jace Burgoyne either, which does hurt a little bit, I think. I think his flair and his craft is really, really handy, and I would have loved to seen him in the team. But with a fully fit team, you're obviously going to go with your more experienced personnel. When Trent McKenzie gets a game in the back 22, and the back 6, sorry, for the 22. And I think that's just mainly because of the height that Brisbane is. Otherwise, you've got 6 players going into 2. It's hard to really adjust those positions. And I really feel for Jace, because I think he's got a lot of upside and will be able to showcase that throughout 2023. I am a little bit shocked Boak is missing. Obviously, he was pretty much very close to play against Fremantle. Obviously, it's been revealed that he has a rib fracture, which hopefully has healed enough to come out next week against the Pies. That's all things considered, it goes well, but I think the general consensus is he will play next week, which is good. It does mean a few things. One, that we go into round one, the most important game of the year so far for Port Adelaide, in particular, of how we're supposed to start the year after last year's debacle of 0-5. To be missing your spiritual leader is going to be a very difficult task. I know in the last few games that he has missed over the course of the last few years, we've won, actually. There's a stat there that I think we've won majority, if not all, of the games that we have played without Boak. I think there's one that we might have lost. I think it was up at the Gabba against Brisbane, funny enough. But overall, I think it's a interesting team. A young, youthful midfield with a lot of upside. Horne-Francis, Butters, Rosie's going to be mixing through there. Drew, Wines, they're tough nuts. Bergman and Dersmer on the wings. Lysette's obviously going to be in there as well as the main ruckman. He gets to go. So I think overall, it's the best team possible we could put out. It looks really good on paper. What it's going to do on the field, on grass, is a completely different story, and that's probably one of the burning questions for me, is which Port turns up. Is it the Port that's been coasting through pre-season, not really caring about the results and the effort and wanting that pretty much this season is do or die, that they're not up to that? Or is it the Port Adelaide that turns up and goes, you know what, this is round one. We're taking on one of the heavyweights that's pretty much a favourite for the flag. Let's see what we can do. And essentially, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what Port Adelaide does in that period of time in the 4 quarters on Saturday. Because if we turn up the way we did in the preseason, we're going to get absolutely pantsed. If we turn up and come for a fight, come for a game like we did against Sydney last year, and I revert back to it because it's probably the best game of football we've played in the last 3 or 4 years in terms of a complete game, just all-out attack, brilliant aggression, and just the way we moved the footy was beautiful to watch. So depends how we play. Obviously at home it's 40,000 people, it's going to be hot. I think it's about 30 degrees in the sun. It's going to test a lot of the players, and that's going to be from both sides. Probably conditions that will suit Brisbane a little bit more in terms of the heat factor. Obviously, it's going to be dry football, so it does speed up the game a little bit. Whether or not that helps us, I'm not too sure, but deliveries inside 50 are going to be quite quick, and I think that's the general consensus is if Port Adelaide turns up, there's going to be a good game of football on our hands. I'm not going to say we're going to win if we turn up, because Brisbane are fantastic, so I think their best is equally as good as ours. We can be better, but it's just up to us. Probably the other burning question for me is who takes the big key forwards, and I did mention this in my best 23 video. For round 1 in particular, I'm looking to go tall down back. O'Leary is going to take probably either Danaher or Hipwood. I would prefer him on Hipwood, to be honest. I do think that athletic factor is going to help, and he could probably outbody Hipwood a lot better than what Danaher could. Then you look at McKenzie on Danaher, which is questionable, but with the coverage of the team and you know, if we can force Brisbane to play a lot slower, then Danaher's attack on the footy and impact on the game itself won't be as dramatic as what we probably think it's going to be. And then Jonas is there as well to clean up the mess. I think he's going to take Gunston. He could probably take another one or two, or either one of those two big tools as well. Just the height factor is going to hurt. But overall, when they're on the lead, it's very hard to stop no matter the defender you are. So I think that's slowing Brisbane down, going inside 50 is going to help us take the big forwards as a collective defensively. But yeah, one-on-one, it's going to be very hard to beat. And if we can nullify their impact on the contest overall, keep them to about 2 goals each, then Brisbane are still got to find 14. Well, I wouldn't say 14, but if about 10 to 12 more goals from their smalls and midfield as well. So you can definitely nullify that a lot easier than your big key forwards. Compared to us at the other end, you're going to have Georgiadis, Marshall, and Dixon as well. So we're going to be equally as potent. Whether or not we get it in there and actually hit a target is going to be the big question as well. But, you know, we've got that good calibre of key forwards that if we play free-flowingly, Marshall's going to kick 3 or 4. Georgiadis, if he kicks straight, will also get that. And Dixon will kick his 2, I think, and it will be a really good game of footy. I've touched on selection, touched on, you know, the big key forwards and the matchups, and overall, I think round 1 is a must-win. You know, we're going to come into this game as underdogs. We're very potent in, I think, the fact that we can take this game, and I think we could be the team. I've said it all pre-season. We'll be the team to absolutely shit it in all 3 pre-season games, the internal trial, West Coast and Fremantle, and then come out round 1 and just obliterate Brisbane. And I'm not saying obliterate as in pump them 10, 15 goals. No way in hell will that happen. But I'm just saying we'll come out and surprise a lot of teams and really just implement a statement on the competition. We're the type of team to do that. Whether or not I think that'll happen, I don't think it does. I think it'll be a real scratch match type of game and go either way. I do think it helps not having Zorko. See, Boak misses for Port, Zorko misses for Brisbane. So overall, that is the big question. You know, which Port Adelaide turns up. It's a round 1 game. It's a must-win game, in my opinion. Probably the most important game for us in terms of this first 5-game block. Because if we win this one, we're 1-0. I can see us going to Melbourne to beat Collingwood, and we're 2-0, showdown 3-0. Then it just opens up. You know, it's such an important factor that we are starting ahead rather than chasing our feet like we did last year. So I'd like to know your thoughts, Port fans. I really do. I think it's going to be one of those games where we're on our seats. We're sitting there and just going to be on edge the whole time, nervous about which Port Adelaide turns up. I, unfortunately, will not be there because I'll be playing a trial match in Wallaroo for my football club, which is disappointing. But, you know, the choices that you're going to make when you're playing footy, it comes across that way. But I'll definitely be there next week at the MCG. So, yeah, make one up, lose one. It is what it is. My tip, I am tipping us. I do think we'll win. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I think we'll win. We'll win by 8 points. It's going to be one of those close games where we kick a goal in the last 2 minutes. Just, there's something about it. It'll be a surprise packet. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. But we'll wait and see. And I'm very much looking forward to this week. It's going to be a big game. Big crowd. Perfect conditions. Let's see how we go this year. Thank you so much for watching, Port fans. Round 1 is here. Let's get to it. Thank you so much for the support over the off-season. Let's grind it out together this year. Let's all get around each other. Big Port Adelaide community. As I said, the channel itself is growing. The Glass Table podcast is going to be absolutely fantastic with Jared Thomas. We've got Hutto's back with Pairs on a Pod, and it's going to be on the Pair this year. Reviews, previews, vlogs, you name it. It's all coming throughout 2023. It's going to be massive. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, for the first time this year, come the Pair.